How did your high school crush turn out as an adult? She married a successful guy who is now an executive vice president in a large company that everyone is familiar with. She's rich and travels the world. She sure dodged a bullet. I just looked her up because of your post. She's apparently an optometrist with a beautiful family. I'm so happy for her. Now back to Reddit on my futon in my studio. She's a childhood friend and I had a thing for her forever since we grew up together. Honestly, I eventually realized she had the intelligence of a brick. She ended up marrying the son of the largest meth dealer in the area. He was in the business too, but something about them just worked. He was always good to her and quit using and dealing altogether. They're extremely happy with a few kids and I couldn't be happier for them. She deserves to be happy. Still awesome, sweet, kind and beautiful. Married with 2 kids. Her husband seems like a good guy, so I'm happy for her. She died from breast cancer in 2018. She went to a different school for college, got married and had children. But she seemed just as charming and as sweet as ever when we last interacted on social media. She was still absolutely beautiful and lovely. It would never have worked for us. But it's still a thought that occasionally crosses my mind. She turned into a dumpster fire. Bullet dodged. I had 2. One lives in Nashville now with a boyfriend. She's always been very interesting and up for adventure. Lived in a few cool places with a few cool jobs. We cross paths every once in a while. Always good to get caught up. The other is asleep in our bedroom with our cat. We've just come back from a great vacation. We are in a really good place building a wonderful life together. My first crush in high school is still nice looking. We always missed getting back together the way our relationships overlapped. She was married. I was single and vice versa. We started talking and 20 years after high school we hooked up. I was 38 then. Now I am 52. I might have to send her a text. She's married to one of my employees. We dated, really bad relationship, we broke up, she got into coke. Well, I set her up with her now husband and they have 2 kids. So I kind of shot myself in the foot. But he was a good friend of mine and they seem pretty happy, so it all worked out. One of them is a doctor, I think. Like she always wanted to be. The other, I believe, is married and runs a restaurant nearby. I legit can't even remember anyone I had a crush on in high school. I don't know. In mid-40s. I'm not in contact with anyone from high school. Not enough social media, other than Reddit, to find out. Neurosurgeon. We still never talk sometimes. Hotter than ever. She went to Africa to help some people, then became paraplegic. Still mad hot though. Still sexy AF. We made a baby. Happily married with a child. Good for them. Pretty amazing. Even more beautiful and has a cat and dog. Married and no kids yet. But we are working on that. Developed bipolar disorder. One time when we were in our early 20s she started showing a lot of interest but then ghosted me. When I tried to organize a date, learnt many years later that this was because she ended up in a mental health unit for 3 months. Regardless of this, she's still a lovely person and we talk occasionally. No romantic interest from either side these days though. She got pregnant in our senior year and now she's doing terribly. I don't really know, as I haven't seen her in a few years. And she barely posts on social media. From what little I can gather, I think she dropped out of college and is working as a barista in our city. Got into a long-term relationship with a not very nice guy. Eventually he dumped her. She went a bit obsessive and got really into bodybuilding. Did that for a while. Then got lip injections. Then a boob job. Dated another typical bad boy and got dumped again after he cheated. So, not great. She passed away in 2018 after I moved from my hometown. I didn't even hear about it until later last year. 13.5 years married. She's still as amazing when I saw her through my 16-year-old eyes. She became a teacher and taught in Africa. She's currently living in Mexico with her husband. No longer have a crush on her, but still admire her. We keep in touch via Instagram. She sent me a Merry Christmas message last December. She stopped being my type personality-wise, but more my type body style-wise, but remained a beautiful person inside and out. Makes odd jewelry she used to sell on her Etsy shop and got super into sports. She also discovered she was a lesbian in her early 20s. Which, weird or wrong as it may sound, makes me kinda glad that I never asked her out. My self-esteem was particularly shit then, and I was far more naive and sheltered and may have taken it badly then. IDK. But like I said, 20 years is a long time. Live and grow. She's sitting next to me on the couch 22 years later, having coffee and watching our son build a puzzle of dogs pooping. No regrets. Happiest life I could have ever asked for. She's even hotter. She's like this super dope Uber MILF now. Her husband, high school sweetheart, is a really nice guy too. Really happy for them if I'm being honest. I remember Googling her just out of some random curiosity, and it turned out she ended up in prison or something for trying to scam some dude on Tinder out of money in his car. She got some nickname in the media called the Tinder honey trapper or along those lines. She's an internet ghost, no idea what happened to her. Or maybe she never existed. Ghost. We got married and divorced. Married a guy she met at uni, now building a family with him. Glad she is going well. Well, let's see, I started dating my high school crush in 1985. Today, we have a grandson. She had fitness goals. A decade or so later she reached them. Lady has washboard abs now. She's still single and the opposite of me. She's asleep in my lap as I'm looking at engagement rings. I'm so lucky to have her as my GF and soon fiancé. She is doing pretty well. Renting a place with her BF. BF is a decent guy. She does have an awesome brother-in-law, which is me. TLDR, I am dating her younger sister for a while now. No idea, I've had zero contact with anyone from high school since I graduated save for a couple friends. And since then I've drifted apart from them too. She turned out to be my wife. Heart. I actually dated my high school crush. He's in prison now for violence against women. Can't say I'm surprised honestly. Younger me had some issues. 44 years next month. Seen her a few years back from a distance. She looked amazing. Natalie, if you're out there, you're still driving me crazy 25 years after high school finished. I'm married to her. We met when she was 14 and I was 15. We became best friends during high school but never dated. We lost contact shortly after high school as we both moved to opposite parts of the country. Through the miracle of the interwebs, we found each other in our mid-20s. Did a long-distance friendship for a bit. Then convinced her to move to where I was. Coming up on 15 years together soon. Including 2 kids. I still sometimes find myself in awe that we're together. She turned out to be my GF for the past 11 years, so that's pretty cool. He is more intelligent than ever. Applying for his PhD at 24. Stronger than ever. Absolutely focused and goal-oriented, and said he can't wait to provide for me and keep me happy. And get married and have a family. We are hoping to get married when it's easy for us both. He had a crush on me too back then.